Hi to our little daydreamers and day drinkers. Welcome to the podcast of Daydreaming and Day Drinking with the Day Sisters. We're so excited to have you here today. Let's get started by telling everybody what we're drinking today. Shonte, what do you got going on?
I have a Four Roses Manhattan up in a martini glass, and it is
Excuse me.
fabulous.
Yummy. Nicole, what do you got?
I am drinking an ice cold Modelo, perfect for this warm Sunday.
Oh, it is warm here today. And I'm drinking Chardonnay. It's your basic $8 bottle Chardonnay. It's my kind of Chardonnay.
You can't go wrong with a nice $8 bottle of Chardonnay. You just
No,
can't.
exactly. I heard the two of you ladies talking earlier, and I think this is another great question that we can kind of just like let our listeners know. What is your favorite drink to drink when you are day drinking? What about you, Nicole?
So I do have a couple that I like, but my all-time favorite when I go out, I like to feel fancy and drink some Sauvignon Blanc. It's nice and crisp. Holding the wine glass in the middle of the day just feels like luxury.
I like to drink white wine while I day drink.
Yeah. Mine for me, it really kind of depends on where I am and what I'm doing, because if I can always go with a bourbon and Diet Coke. Any time of the day, you're out, you're like, I like that little bit of caffeine of the Coke, but just that little take the edge off with the bourbon. If it's hot, I like a nice cold glass of Chardonnay. Feel fancy too, sitting there at lunch, drinking it out of my wine glass. And sometimes you just got to have a beer. Kona Big Wave. Like,
Kona Big Wave is good. I like a Kona Big Wave.
I had that a couple weeks ago before a Costco trip. We went to Hurricanes, and I was like, I think I need a Kona. They had it on draft. It was so good. So good. Nice. Yeah. So awesome. I have a variety of stuff.
I love it. So before we get into it today, should we give our little daydreamers and day drinkers a little cheers?
Yes.
Let's take our glasses.
Cheers.
Happy drinking.
Cheers.
Take our lovely sip. All right, ladies. So we are so excited to be starting our inaugural podcast. The three of us obviously are sisters. We know that, but our listeners maybe don't know that. And so we are just really excited to honestly talk about our sisterhood and growing up and the things that we have going on. So why don't we just start by giving a little bit of background on our family? So Shonte, why don't you talk a little bit about where we're from and where we grew up?
Yeah, so this is actually, I feel like this should be an episode of Drunk History, right? Like, I feel like I should put on the hats and do all that reenactment. But so the information that I've gotten is from our grandfather, who passed away in 2022. But so he would tell me a lot about, they're from Cleveland, Ohio. And our dad worked for SeaWorld up in Ohio, which was a seasonal. And then he moved and helped open up the park down here. And Grandma and Grandpa, Dad was their only child. So Grandpa retired from after 30 years of the Cleveland Police Department and said, we're going to move to Florida, because that's what older people do when they retire. So think 1976, moving down to Florida, right? For those of you who know Orlando area, like I-4 was just like in the middle of like the orange trees. Like there was nothing around there. And they went to go look at a neighborhood development which is like Windermere now. And they went to go look at houses there, and the houses were, they were all sold. And they said, you know what? We have this great new neighborhood in this up and coming city called Altamonte Springs. It is 20 minutes north of here. So Grandma and Grandpa got on I-4 and drove up to Altamonte, which is really Altamont Springs.
Okay,
it's about 20 minutes north of Orlando.
I don't want to be roasted by our Altamont Springs peeps because they obviously know how to say it.
Yes. But the people that were here didn't at the time, right? So they sent them up to Altamont. And they literally bought like the second house in the development and built it. And then like within a year moved down here. And then within a year after that, mom and dad moved 3 houses down from them. So that was 1982 when we moved into the house. It was March of 1982. Nicole was born in January of 1980. So we were very, very, fresh little family of 4. I was born in 78. So I was just a little bit, about going to celebrate my 4th birthday that year. And we moved in 3 houses down from grandma and grandpa. And that's where we all grew up, right there in Altamont.
And
So, yeah.
Some of us left and some of us didn't. Like Shonte still lives in Seminole County, which is in Florida. But our
Seminole
parents
County
still,
my whole life, but I've almost lived in every single city here.
That's true.
And our parents still live in the same house.
Yes.
And our grandparents still lived in the same house up until they passed away, and we sold the house. But
yes,
yeah, I mean, it's been pretty much the same area for quite some time.
Yes. So yes. Okay. So yeah. So we've all lived in. We grew up in Altamont. We all went to the same elementary, middle, and high school. For those that have known us and know the Altamont area, we all went to Spring Lake Elementary, which is over there on Orange. I don't know if it's still called Orange Avenue or Orange Street, but it's over there by Costco. And then Rock Lake Middle School, which is in Longwood, which is over off of State Road 434. And then Lake Brantley High School, which is Sand Lake Road over in Altamont. So we all 3 went to all 3 of those schools, and like that's where we lived the whole time, and we knew the area. And I mean, gosh, I know you guys don't live here anymore, but like it's crazy the growth that has gone through there.
Yeah.
And the way it has turned out over the years, so it's it's been, but it was good. We had a good, like the schools and stuff. I mean, those were good, everybody. I mean, I think we kind of joke around because Nicole, like Brantley, was going through transitions when you were there.
Yeah.
So the high school I went to is completely different than the high school that Monique went to, even though it was in the same location, the same name.
And the high school I went to was different from what both of you went to, because mine was mainly portables and temporary building structures.
Yep.
And then Monique got the new school.
I got the school that literally like looks like a college campus. Like it was
for
gorgeous.
real.
Yeah.
Or like out of a movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like Clueless.
Yeah. And like people will like as we get to know our listeners and they get to know us a little bit more, I'll talk more about my daughters, but my youngest is in the Seminole County public school system now. So we had to go to Lake Brantley for a band thing. And it was like, I had no idea how to get to the stadium. Like they had us go through, there's like a courtyard. I was like, what is this? I was like, I did not go to this school. I don't know who did, but it wasn't me. So yeah.
Yeah. Monique got the fancy school.
Yeah.
I for sure did.
That's funny. So,
okay, so sorry, go ahead, Shonte.
No, you go ahead.
No, I mean, I don't know what other like history you have, because I'm not even gonna lie to you. Can we just talk about like I learned a little bit about our family right there? I didn't know they were looking at houses in Windermere.
Yeah, so Grandpa and I had talked about this. It was just, because I had found some pictures of when they came down to visit Dad, and they took pictures because they were just like, oh my God, we're in Florida. And there was a picture, which was where I drive is now. International Drive is more known as, for those in Orlando, it's I Drive. And there was nothing. And there was one little billboard that said, coming soon, SeaWorld. And Grandma and Grandpa took the picture. Yeah. and they had it like in their photo album. And one day we were going through photos and he's like, oh my God, show this to your dad. And like, to me, showing pictures to my dad is take a picture on my phone and text it to him. Right. So it's like, I was like, oh, Dad, look at this picture we found. Oh, Dad, look at this picture, you know? So it was, it was one of those things that it was most likely after Grandma passed away and we were looking through a bunch of the pictures and stuff. And, that's where I got to learn a lot more because he was sharing a lot of those pictures and stuff. So,
and for the reference for our listeners, our father, actually, the reason he moved here was because he worked at the SeaWorld in Ohio, but then got a job at SeaWorld in Orlando. And if you want even deeper history on the family, our mother actually danced hula for the Polynesian show at SeaWorld, which is how they met. So every now and then, at least I use the language or the terminology that we're theme park babies, which basically means we just grew up around theme parks. Like, because our dad was an executive in the theme park industry, we grew up as theme park babies. So that's what I tend to refer to us as.
Dude, since you brought that up, 100%, right? Like we would spend summers there because we would go to work with our dad and we would go. And this is before Anheuser-Busch bought SeaWorld. So there wasn't as much of an adventure park where there's all the roller coasters and stuff, right? So it was more just the animals, seeing the shows and stuff like that. They had Happy Harbor, right? So you could go and climb and all that stuff. But I mean,
the
like,
nets.
yeah, I'd be like 12 years old. So Nicole, you would be like, what, 9? Monique was like 6. And we're just like walking behind the employees. We're like, and they'd be like, can we help you? We're like, no, we've got this. It's like, I always had this thing. I always had this mentality that was like, if you have the confidence of knowing what you're going to do, no one will bother you. And nobody did. We literally just walked right
through
back.
Security all the time.
Yeah. I'm like,
we would just walk in from the employee parking lot. No questions asked.
Let's just talk a little bit about why we wanted to do this podcast. Nicole, do you want to talk a little bit about like excitement and why we really just kind of wanted to get together and start this podcast?
Yeah. So I know that my journey is a little bit different than your two journeys with this because I am not really a podcast person. I want to be deep in my core. I like always have this goal to listen to these podcasts and I add a bunch to my listening. And then I never ever listen. So it's a different journey. But what I am excited about is honestly getting to hang out with you two when we do these, because we are all like, while me and Monique and I live in the same state, it's rare that the three of us are together. And we just had kind of our first little trip where it was just the three of us. When Monique and I flew to Florida to surprise our dad for his 70th birthday party. And so because our parents didn't know we were there, we got to just stay with Shonte. And for the three of us, it was just such a blast.
Yeah, it was so great to have you guys come in January. I know that we all were planning Dad's 70th birthday, and it was one of those that I was like, do we have a surprise party for Dad? Or because that's not the kind of person who wants to be surprised, right? But the best kind of surprise is you guys being here, right? So I think we planned it and did a great job. But I mean, and I'm sorry, Mom, you're going to listen to this and you're going to hear this, but our parents not knowing that you guys are here we had so much fun with just us three.
It's so much fun.
I mean, like the three of us and like, you know, Anthony and Tom and like, I don't know that we've ever done that.
No, like I got you guys from the airport. We went for ice cream. We got to see my oldest. We picked up my youngest from school. We went and got this will be another episode. Maybe this will be in the sister episode, but we got JCPenney awkward photos done, which were probably 10 times more for us than they were for Dad. But
100%.
It was Dad's birthday gift. It was great. We came back to the house. We all got changed. We got an Uber. We went out to dinner. I mean, like,
we almost died in the Uber on the way back.
I mean,
apparently.
because he was going slow, but we were all had a little bit to drink. So, but I mean, it was just like, and then the next day we were getting ready for Dad's party and stuff. I mean, like that's the kind of stuff like we don't usually get that time together because, for the most part, I know that it might have been just a tad bit uncomfortable with everybody at my house. I know that Nicole, you were sleeping in Kylie's room. It's not ideal. But usually at this point, somebody stays at mom and dad's house, right? Because they have an extra bedroom. I have an extra bedroom. We all split up and all that kind of stuff. So this is the first time we all stayed together under the roof and, was able to do this for Dad's party. So I think it was really great. We were like, you know what? Like, and this is things that we're going to talk about in later episodes as well, that one, we're getting older. And two, the most important thing, life is just way too short.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Shit happens, things happen, and it's too short.
I mean, listen, while we were together, we even did I'm the eldest, I'm the middle, I'm the youngest Instagram reel. And and we had a blast doing it because that's the first time we were all together. I think the last time that all three of us were together has either been a funeral or weddings. That's the only time all of us come together. Yeah.
And even then, Grandpa's funeral was pretty quick. And I mean, I wasn't 100%, so it wasn't like we were going out to dinner, having a drink, spending a little bit of time together, which is what Grandpa would have wanted. We know that. I'm not trying to say that we were celebrating by any means, but the fact that we were together. And honestly, January 2024 was the first time we had been together. I think most of us have been together since August 2022, if I am correct. So it had been a while.
Yeah.
It was due time.
Yeah.
And so I think too, to your point, just being together in January, really helped us kind of say, okay, this would be a fun project. And we already kind of had a little bit of a fun project together. So during the pandemic, Shonte and I started a Facebook page where we went live about COVID. And it was called Wine About COVID with Monique and Shonte. And we literally went and just bitched about COVID and what was going on and not being able to go out, not being able to talk. And we did Nicole came in and would come in and talk with us. And our mom came in and talked with us. And then our mom even did cooking demonstrations on our live events. And people just had an absolute ball with it. And, I like to think,
hold on. Let's be honest. They had a ball with it because we were getting drunk while we were doing it.
Anything could go. It was COVID.
If I recall, Monique's taking the fifth. If I recall, I would have a box of Kirkland brand Cabernet sitting next to me, and I'd be like,
I would drink a box of wine a week during the pandemic. That is not healthy.
My favorite photo from during the pandemic is a screenshot of me FaceTiming mom and dad with mom holding the wine box above dad's mouth. And dispensing it directly into his mouth with me in the little thing with my drink going, cheers!
Like a keg stand. If dad could have done a keg stand, but on a wine box.
It's my favorite photo from COVID.
Yeah. That's a whole other podcast. We'll have a whole other podcast of what happened in 2020, right? Okay, yeah. So, oh my gosh.
Anyway, so I think the reality is one, we just obviously love spending time with each other, and we're not all necessarily together. Nicole and I are close, but Shonte's in Florida and Nicole and I are in Texas. So I think really just getting together and just talking about sisterhood and traveling and the things that we have going on and growing up. I think it is really what we're excited to do here with this podcast.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
So this podcast, of course, as we talked about, we really just want you guys to get to know us a little bit. So, Nicole, No pressure. But why don't you talk a little bit about yourself and
Yeah.
maybe I don't know, like you said your birth year, but I don't recall. You're pretty old, so
I wouldn't
Oh.
use the
I
word.
can't say.
Yeah, that's not how I
Can I
would
just
describe it, but okay.
I just want to sidebar for a second. I was getting a massage today, and the lady was 26, and he knew that I was 29, and she was talking about some friends. She's like, there are friends who are like much older than me, like your age. And you go, hey, be careful with that much. And then she's like, she felt so bad. I'm so sorry. I'm like, I didn't mean
Okay.
it like that. It was like Freudian slip. And I was like, I'm just busting your chops. I was like, it's
First of
okay.
all, you said you were 29.
29. Well,
That
I
didn't
said
even
Yeah, that's what you said.
Hold on a second, Censor.
No.
That's not
I
correct.
said 39.
No.
That's
No.
not how it
I
sounded.
said
then.
39.
You
I
did
said
not.
It did not sound like
Rewind.
that.
I said 30. I told you I'm congested. I said 39.
I've
Oh, yeah.
got a cough.
I'm- I'm 22. Oh no, I'm just congested.
God.
Oh my god.
And
Yeah.
listeners,
For real, you said
and you know
29.
what?
I was like,
You know
hold
what?
up. Nicole and I both said how old we were. Monique did not. And then all of a sudden pops out with some 29. I'm
No.
like, listen, I may be one drink in, but I'm doing the math.
Listen.
The math ain't mathin'.
Listen, my little daydreamers and day drinkers, this is your first example of how they gang up on the baby.
I call bullshit.
Anyways, okay, Nicole, let's learn about you. What'd you do this weekend? Give us a dip into your personality this weekend, and then tell us about yourself.
I bought a car.
Oh, this weekend?
I bought a car this weekend. I know. Yeah, I totally did. I
forgot about that already.
Yeah, I bought a car. And the reason I sound so excited is because I moved to Texas from New York City. And so I didn't have a car for almost 10 years. And it's the things you forget about when you leave New York. You're like, oh yeah, suburbs, it's so great. My apartment's going to be huge. And it is. But you have to get a car.
You need to get around. You don't get the metro. You don't get to just walk blocks.
Texas is not walking friendly. There's a lot of places that don't even have sidewalks, and it just blows my mind because you will see people walking in the roads. Yeah. But it's not great.
Public transportation.
Yes.
Not
and
New York
so
City.
when I came in 2020, cars were at an all-time high. And so I leased a car in 2021, and I had a 3-year lease, and it was a Nissan Altima. And no disrespect to the Altima drivers, but that car was not for me. It gave me nothing but a headache for 3 years. It so long, it felt like I was driving a boat everywhere, and I just wasn't used to it. And the cherry on top was that 2 weeks ago, I was involved in a hit and run accident, and somebody slammed into the back of me and drove off. And I was like, oh, now I have to fix this stupid car. And my lease was up in November, and so they gave me a call, and they're like, hey, what can we do to get you out of it? I'm like, that's a great question, because somebody hit it.
You don't have to do a lot, to be honest. I'll just give it to you.
I was like, what can we do to get me out of this? So I went in yesterday, and I had a great salesman, and he was super awesome. He worked with me really well, and I got a new 2024 Nissan Kicks. It's a little hatchback, but it's like not quite SUV. It's like what is it, the midsize?
Mm-hmm. What do they call them? Like
crossovers.
Yes,
crossovers.
the crossover.
Yeah.
But it's really cute, and it's it had like 12 miles on it.
What color?
And it's white.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, white black interior, so it is really pretty. And yeah, I'm
Until
really
the
excited
summer.
about it because I park in a parking garage, so I'm covered parking, so it's fine. But yeah, like I bought a car. Like it's 4 years in the making of living here,
That's
but
awesome.
I finally like have a car that's mine because I felt like the other one was just a long-term rental.
Look, wait, I found this thing that I can do. Ready?
Is something supposed to be happening?
What's on here? That was for you.
Yeah, that was perfect. Yeah, I needed that.
Yeah.
Well,
But yeah, so
congratulations,
that was
Nicole.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Thank you. I'm really
I
excited.
did just sit in said car yesterday, and I was very happy.
What's the name?
I have not named it yet. I'm just, I've driven the car twice. We got to get to know each other. You know what I mean? Like, there's still a courtship that has to take place between us to make sure that we're, really feeling it before I can just like assign a name to it.
Yeah,
I feel that.
Yeah, so we'll get
so
there.
You mentioned earlier you are in Dallas via New York. So do you want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, so I grew up in Florida, as you know, and then I was the first one to move away. I went to hair school in Florida, and I loved doing hair, and I was like, it would be awesome doing hair in New York. And so a friend of mine, one of my best friends and I from hair school, decided we were going to save up and move to New York. And so after a year of saving, we left everything and we went up to New York. We didn't even have an apartment. We found out we got the apartment after like we were 3 days into our drive. Yeah, New York. So technically Brooklyn. Yeah. We moved to Brooklyn. We were like 3 days into our drive before we even found out we had a home to live in. So we were really just going up there on a hope and a wish and a dream and all of the above. But yeah, so we moved up there, and I started within a couple months of being there, I started a 9-year career with Dry Bar doing hair. I got to do a lot of wedding hair, New York Fashion Week, I had a lot of celebrity clients. I did hair cutting and as well as styling, and it was awesome. I loved my time there. And then COVID hit, and the hair industry was hit really, really hard in New York in particular. New York was just hit really hard. And so
you guys are kind of like, I don't want to say ground zero, but like that's where a lot of the attention was that started. Yeah. And then it was like everybody at the tents. You guys shut down first.
We shut down.
New York City shut down.
They shut the trains down. And that is like, this was one of the first historical situations in which they've shut the trains down in like decades. So the trains were not running 24 hours and they were shut down for a large part of the day. And it was just like general business hours. So it was very weird being so separate from all of my family in New York. And then my best friend, that was the first year that my best friend and I, who had moved up there together, we had our own separate places. He was in a relationship and engaged, and he moved all the way up to Harlem. And I was all the way down in South Brooklyn living on the beach. And there was just no way to get to each other. And so it was very isolating.
Now, and side note.
So after that, it was nice to kind of like move somewhere where family was. And so that's what
I was going to go back just a second, because like right before COVID, my family came to see you in New York City.
One of my favorite memories.
And because my oldest, which we'll get into a little bit, played club soccer, and she was playing in New Jersey. So we decided we were going to skip her game and go to the city and see Nicole. So we went and saw her apartment. We picked her up, and we went and started in Brooklyn. We did the Brooklyn Bridge. We basically started like, what is that? South Manhattan, just kind of worked our way up to
we started all the way down by Wall Street.
Yeah.
And walked all the way up.
And I think, so that was Memorial Day weekend. Yeah. We saw you and all that kind of stuff. And then literally, I think it was the next weekend, Monique, that you and Anthony went.
Yeah, I was just like,
Yep.
we went, I think that was 2019, right?
Yes, yep,
Yeah.
2019.
Yeah,
But
2019.
we went like almost, yeah, and we got to see you. We got to
Yeah.
see you. Took us to a couple of the dry bars. I mean, like that place, I mean, was amazing. Like, you know, I mean, I always bragged about you, just so you know. I would always be like, yeah, my sister runs, like, she's regional manager of several dry bars up in there. You know, like, it was so cool because as someone who's never left Seminole County, my sister was living in New York City, you know, and I was just like, oh my God, you know, now, I mean, obviously I got a couple of things for discount. I don't know if we should tell it. You don't work there anymore, but
Yeah, it's fine. Everything I did was above the table.
yeah, so I'm just,
Yeah,
you
there
know,
you go.
I said just for discount, you know, I don't know how these things work. But yeah, so I mean, it was so cool to see you. And, you know, I got to see Scott and the boss, and we got to see your apartment
Yeah.
and everything. And so it was really kind of cool to see like your area, right? Like
Yeah.
to go there and see like this is, I mean, like I literally, you guys both know I'm the oldest. I plan and I'm control of everything. And
Yeah.
we literally went to the city, and I was like, Nicole's like, all right, here, I already have a list of things that you guys want to see. I already know what you want to
I
see.
mapped out the whole trip so
And
that it was
yep.
as smooth as could be, like walking across the bridge, bagels, having pizza, seeing this. Okay, we're going to get on a train here. We're going to walk to here. We're going to get to see this. That was some of the best times, like getting to show you guys my city.
Yes.
Was just so cool because I love that city. And like I had locations in every neighborhood. So I knew that city like the back of my hand.
Well, and I mean, it was for someone who's always like planning and stuff. It was so great to like just be like, I'm just gonna follow. And Nicole, like, we literally took we didn't take a bus, but we literally took every other single transportation that day. We took the train, we took the subway, we walked the bridge, we took an Uber, we took a taxi. Like we did everything that day, and it was just, I mean, Kylie was, I don't even know if she was 4th or 5th grade, but like, she was just like, oh, this is an awe. And I mean, like, I honestly would not have been able to do that city without you. Hands down. Like I would have been pleasure. Like, yeah, I mean, like that was one of the best trips we took. And unfortunately, Malia wasn't with us. We photoshopped her in a couple of photos. But I mean, like, we ate in Little Italy. We ate in Chinatown. I was like, we were drinking. I mean, like,
yeah. Our Little Italy experience was incredible because we sat outside on the sidewalk.
Yes.
And Little Italy is just so gorgeous when they do the outside seating and stuff like that because you just hear every language in the world walking right past you. And it's so incredible. And you're eating this amazing food and the weather is beautiful and you have a drink in your hand. And that is the life that I miss.
Yeah. I could see how you'd miss that. I mean, like, honestly, like if I was single, that would probably be where I was. I mean, we'll get to me later, should live there. But yeah. I mean, yeah, it was great. So whenever you want to go back, Nicole, call me.
I'm naming my boss now. Like I have made no shyness about the fact that the only thing that I like in Texas is my job. And he's like, don't worry, I'll get you out of Texas one day. And I'm like, I know you will. I'm waiting patiently. And so we're going to New York in May. And for our trip, I buy the tickets for our team to go. And I was like, hey, I'm only going to buy myself a one-way ticket. Because I'm staying longer to hang out with my friends and stuff. And so like, since it's vacation time, like I'll buy my plane ticket back. Yeah. And he looks at me and he goes, no, buy both. And I was like, are you afraid I'm not going to come back? And he's like, every time we go to New York, that literally scares me. Just buy the ticket. Yeah. It's like, nice. I was like, okay, I see you. You are making sure I come back. Yeah. But he knows. He'll get me out of here one day. And I have faith in that.
So I sidetracked you and I apologize, but I'm sure you want to talk about how you came from New York to Dallas. So continue your story.
So I wanted to be around family post-COVID, and Monique was here, and I was like, all right, I don't want to do Florida again. Like, I've already done that. And I felt like after New York, like I wouldn't be happy there. So I was like, I got to go somewhere new. Monique was like, come here, come to Dallas. You'll love it. And I was like, okay.
Wait, didn't you go to Wichita?
Texas before. What?
Wasn't it Wichita?
No, I never. No, she was here already.
I was still here.
You didn't go, you went to Kansas first and then to Dallas.
No.
Monique did. I did not.
Yeah.
No.
I thought you didn't go, you moved with her from Kansas.
I helped her move to Kansas, but I never went to Kansas.
You lived in Wichita, did you not?
I
Nicole?
did not.
Yeah.
Never. Monique had been in Dallas for a couple years already when I moved here.
You're thinking Bedford. I lived in Bedford, Texas when she lived here. Then we moved to Fort Worth.
I swore you were in Kansas.
I think you're drinking.
No, I never lived in Kansas.
I thought you did. All right, I'm right.
No. Okay, so I came from Brooklyn.
Hold on,
to
let me just clarify this. We moved to Texas in March of 2018. Nicole moved with us in August of 2020. Okay.
I
just needed to clarify that.
In Bedford, Texas, in the middle cities between Dallas and Fort Worth.
Correct.
So so I left New York, COVID, came to Texas, moved in with Monique while we waited out COVID, and then started looking for a job and all of that good stuff. And I had a bit of a tough time finding a job here because I came from the hairstyling industry. So I'm tattooed. I have facial piercings. I have non-natural colored hair, unless you're a fairy. Like, it's just this isn't a natural color hair.
to be fair, Mom said you were from the Postman, so
he did.
We don't know what color his hair was. Just saying.
But we've seen the pictures of the three of us together. You guys can't play that game anymore.
We can't deny each other.
Also, I really can't say much because the Postman in our childhood lived in our neighborhood, and I am Facebook friends with his daughter now, and I actually saw her 2 weeks ago. So I will not talk about our Postman.
Yeah, we all know.
Who I loved.
Yeah, we all know. Anyways,
okay, so go ahead.
Keep going, Nicole.
So I was looking for a job here, and I had a bit of a struggle because everyone wanted me to kind of conform, and obviously I'm a super middle child, so I'm not the conformist type. And one of my friends happened to send me a link one day to this tattoo studio that was looking for an administrative assistant, and I was working remote at the time, and so I wasn't necessarily looking for a job, but I was like, fuck it, let's go ahead and apply. It sounds cool. And I interviewed with them, and they were awesome. And it's not like any tattoo studio I've ever been into in my life. It is a luxury tattoo studio. It is more like an art studio where we do tattoos. And it is just absolutely awesome. I love my job. I'm so happy to be there. I've now been there 2.5 years. I'm going on my, about to hit my 3rd year there. And, it's an incredible team that I get to manage and work with on a daily basis. And we've just grown so much. And if you want to see some super cool tattoos, man, just go and check out Eden Body Art Studios, because the talent there is absolutely incredible. And now I don't have to conform to anything. And I get more facial piercings at work, and I get to get more tattoos at work. And you get to show them off and be proud of them instead of feeling like you have to be ashamed and hide them. So it's just really awesome because I feel like I get to live so much more in my authenticity and who I am as a person, and like how I express myself in my fashion and my style and my look and stuff like that. So I would say that while I don't love Texas, it brought me here to this job, and I've just never been happier.
And I can contest to your studios too, because my daughter, my oldest, which again we'll talk about later, who is 20 for the record,
Yes.
okay, that I'm at old, went there last summer, and we knew, she already has a tattoo, which we helped her get when she graduated high school, and got another one from Eden.
And we have
with
matching
Nicole.
tattoos now.
Matching tattoos, and also a nose piercing. I mean, your studio
Yes.
does that. I mean, and honestly, like, I'm all for, expressing yourself. Like, I have a tattoo. I'm allowing my kid, like, we paid for her tattoo when she turned 18 because it helped us to, whatever. But I mean, like, it was great. The artwork was great. It looks good. It was clean. Even the nose piercing was it was nice. I mean, it was done. It was great. She had a great experience. And I mean, I've never seen the studio
fun with her,
but it was good.
Yeah, it was so awesome having her there and getting to like introduce her around and seeing her have a good time and enjoy, because as a woman who likes tattoos, it can be very intimidating walking into a lot of tattoo studios. And so we really create a place that is safe for everyone. And that is it's super cool to work in a place like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's how I ended up in Dallas, and I love it here. And I love my apartment now, and I have a tough schedule and I live alone. So I can't really have like dogs or things like that. So I've made do and kind of with the life I lead. And so I have a beautiful betta fish named Sir Bigglesworth of the Round Cup, because he is in fact in a beautiful round tank that's held by bamboo wood, because only the best for my fish. And then I have a leopard gecko named Hoku, who has a hat collection. And I feel like we can dive into that more later, but she does officially have a hat collection, and I am looking for a dollhouse sized hat rack currently, and that is a little bit about me.
So I would also like to say that, Nicole, I think that we do have a Facebook and an Instagram page, listeners, so you understand. We will, but I think that we need
Hoku
to
in
see.
her hats.
Thank you. That's exactly what I was getting at.
100%. Yeah. We're thinking of starting our own hat line for lizards called Hats by Hoku, but we haven't quite dabbled too far into that yet. So more to come, hopefully.
Sweet. I'm all for that kind of stuff.
I bring the weird as the middle child.
So, yeah. Okay. So we've established that you're the middle child.
Yeah.
So let's go to Monique, who is the youngest. And we all know how the youngest are and all that. They can't do anything wrong, right? They're just, they get to go to SeaWorld for the whole day by themselves and enjoy life.
You're 100% correct. You're 100%
Monique, let's talk to you about what you did this weekend and why you were late to the podcast.
We can talk about it. Yes, I was late to the podcast today. So a couple of things that we did this weekend. One, both my husband, Anthony, and I got a massage today. Much needed. I know Nicole actually recently signed up for like a massage membership. And we used to do that, but don't do it anymore. So the massages are few and far between, but it was desperately needed. Anthony, we didn't do a couples massage. I don't need to be in the same room as Anthony. He got his own deep tissue massage, and I got my own relaxation massage. And when I was booking them on Friday, I was kind of like, hey, how long are you thinking? And he said to me, well, like, do you think like we could really go for 90 minutes? What do you think about that? And I was like, sold. I'm ready for 90. I'm good. But they asked us to come 15 minutes later, and then they had problems with like the waivers and stuff like that. So we didn't get started. I had plenty of time, an hour and a half. It was at 1 o'clock. I should have been out of there by like 2:35, home and good to go for the podcast. But we had so many problems when we got there. And when she finished, she was like, all set. And I got up to go get dressed, and I looked at my phone, and it was 2:57. And I was like, oh shit, this is not good. I am like still in the massage room. So I texted you ladies and was like, please. So
And
we
to
got a
our fellow
massage.
drinkers and dreamers, we have to say, one of the things is that I'm in Eastern time zone and Nicole and Monique are in Central time zone.
Yeah.
So when we were saying, hey, how does 4 o'clock on a Sunday work? We were like, 4 o'clock, whose time? You know, like we had to, so yeah.
Yeah. So, so I did
I
that.
like the
and,
headband, Mo.
Thank you.
That was a good idea. Great job,
Thank
Nicole.
you. Hairstylist.
I didn't think about the podcast and the fact that we might be on video, and I opted to get a peppermint scalp massage. Which, by the way, if you've ever, I don't even know what to say. Like,
I've heard it's amazing.
It's insane, and it's just like she or he or she. I mean, my lady was a she, but she went right
Her
on
lady was a she.
My lady was a she. My masseuse was a she today, and she was just like right on my face and my hair. But it's like oily on your hair, so it's very greasy. But honestly, I was like, I had to figure out what to do with my hair just for the video. But anyways, we did that. We exercised this morning. Yesterday, we went and spent some time with some friends over at Texas de Brazil for a birthday party. So we love spending time with friends and getting to know all of our friends that we have here in Texas. We've been in Texas for, I gotta do the math, 6 years now, officially. Like next week, it'll be 6 years. I can't believe that. And then Friday,
before I came here.
way before you came here.
Are you sure? Because my math is not adding up.
Your math is not adding up, babe. I
swear to God, you've only been there for like 2 years.
No. So and then Friday I did a ladies like a girls' night with a friend of mine, and it was really great. I've always been the type of person, I've never really had girlfriends. I've always had guy friends. And even when I lived in Kansas, which I'll talk about here in a second, I like clung on to Anthony's friends. So I'm making a lot of girlfriends here, and that's really nice. And so we went and had dinner on Friday night together, and it was just really, what's the word I'm looking for? Wholesome? Not wholesome. I don't know. Fulfilling.
All the feels.
Fulfilling.
All the feels.
Yeah.
It was very fulfilling. Yeah.
Good for the soul.
Yes. That's a good way to put it.
So to backtrack a little bit, since I'm the only one, I'm 29 years old. Excuse me.
I didn't know we were lying on this podcast, guys. I would like to. Yes, I am 32.
I'm sorry. Did I say I had a 20-year-old daughter? Because I know.
I'm a young hybrid. No. I'm 38 years old. I will turn 39 in April. I was born in 1985. I am the baby of the family, and I think Shonte hinted 100%. I get what I want. I have no responsibilities. I don't pay for jack shit. What else? Give me more, people.
I don't know, because you know what? Honestly, I'm probably partly to blame for all that shit. So I don't even know what.
Shonte treated me like I was her own child.
Okay, hold on. For a second.
Hold on. From my understanding, like physically talked for me for like the first 3 years of my life. So she is to blame. Thank you.
Kind of, yes, I will say that. But also, as the oldest, can I tell you, who do you think babysat you people during the summers?
No wonder we're so fucked up. That's all I gotta say.
Thank you.
You played
8, 9 years old, and we were like we were the meme now that was like, we are the lock key kids, right? Like I was the one who watched you during the summer when mom would go to work and dad was at work. Like I would get up, I would feed you guys breakfast, feed you lunch. We cleaned the house. Like we did whatever we wanted to in the house.
Like
but
that's
then we
a
made
whole
sure it was
nother
clean.
podcast. That's a whole
Mom
nother
and dad got home.
podcast.
So, yes, I am a little bit to blame for the way you guys are raised.
Yes, that's okay.
We all have trauma from that, Shonte.
So
Thank you.
we do. Thank you, Nicole.
Hold on.
I am, there she goes. She's drinking the drinky drink.
I have to because I know sick.
That's probably
Have you
why
seen
you're
the
the only
meme?
one who had kids.
Like, not our
Have you
fault.
seen the meme that was like, yes, us oldest are angry because we raised kids we did not birth?
You know what? Okay, so I don't remember what I was saying, but I am the baby. I do get whatever the hell I want, and that's pretty much that. I am married. I have a husband. His name is Anthony. And we've been married for, hold on, let me do the math. 16, it's 2004. In December, it will be 8 years that we have been married. We've been together for
So you
12.
just celebrated your 7th anniversary?
Yes, in December. We live in Fort Worth, Texas. We met while we were in Florida, Orlando. I'm going to give a shout out to online dating because we did meet online. We met on eHarmony, but it was way before you had to swipe right or left because that's how old we are. You had to like email each other. So we emailed each other. But it worked out really well, and he wasn't a sociopath. He didn't murder me yet. One day,
Which is
he might.
to say, it was probably the first time that Monique shared her location with me and has never taken it off. So I still can tell you where she is at all times.
Same.
Yes, when I started dating Anthony, I shared my location with Shonte. But as a sidebar, Anthony and I had been together for quite a while when we moved to Wichita, Kansas. And there was this super cool thing to do where you could go, like, first of all, Wichita, Kansas, not a whole hell of a lot going on. So there was a super cool thing where you could go into the middle.
Been there.
Yeah. Into the middle of nowhere and go to like a, I don't know, planetarium. I don't know what it's called.
The Star Museum.
The Star, yeah. And you could, did I take you there?
Yes, I went there when I went for your wedding dress.
Perfect. Okay.
When you lived there.
No, she didn't live there.
I never lived there.
She went there once for 2 days. Okay.
Twice. I moved you up there. You up there.
You moved me up there. 100%.
I flew to Florida to drive with you from Florida to Kansas. Mm-hmm. And then I reminded you the whole time how Oklahoma looks like the movie The Hills Have Eyes.
Yes. So I don't want to sidebar too much, but Anthony had to be up there earlier for his job, and our lease at our apartment was had 2 months on it. So I stayed in the apartment and packed up, and then Nicole came and flew down to Florida and drove with me from Florida to Oklahoma. And Nicole misread some directions and got us lost in Podunk, Oklahoma. And as we are driving through Oklahoma trying to figure out where we're at, she decides to Google this shit, and fucking people are beheaded, and it's not pretty. It's not good. We made our way through. It was 2 hours extra. Don't go through Northeast Oklahoma.
I had a great time.
It's not pretty. It's not pretty.
It was an experience, and I got to simultaneously scare the shit out of my youngest sister.
It's
which is not hard.
No,
to be fair,
it's not hard. Anyway, so in Kansas, I took Anthony to this planetarium, and it is out in the middle of nowhere. And because we met online, we had this ongoing joke about murdering each other. Not healthy, but that was our joke. And so I surprised him with this planetarium, and we are going out to the middle of nowhere, Kansas. There's no lights, anything, and we're driving, and he looks at me, and he's like, "You're going to murder me." And I was like, "How did you?" I was like, "How did you know?" Thank you. Anyways, it was a planetarium. It was gorgeous. So many stars.
Gorgeous. The coolest thing to see in Kansas.
Absolutely.
The sky.
To see in Kansas. But we did about 3 years in Kansas, and then we moved to Fort Worth. Well, we moved to Dallas, Texas for Anthony's job, and we've been here since 2018. And since here, we moved to Bedford, Texas, which was a really great city. Nicole got to experience that with us. And then we moved to Fort Worth, and we bought a house, and we adopted 2 dogs, 2 family dogs. So we are Dink, which is double income, no kids. You can
I like to
also
call her
say
a
that we're
dildo.
dink wads or dildos. So dink wads are double income, no kids with dogs. And
I can't
dildos
ever get used to that.
is a new term I recently learned that technically applies to us in multiple scenarios because we do have one large dog and one little-ish dog. She's a little overweight, so she's a
She
little.
has a large spirit.
So I have to go around
dildo
telling people that my sister is a dildo.
That's
Yes.
fine. Yeah.
That's
So
what I do.
a dildo is a dual income large dog owners. That's us.
What's the S for?
Owners.
It's just a dildo.
Oh, dildo.
You're a singular dildo.
We're dog owners.
Hey, I'm Shonte. My sister Monique lives in Texas, and she's a
A
dildo.
dildo. Perfectly fine. That's okay.
Yeah.
We're also
People will get that.
I have acronyms for everything we are.
Yeah.
We're everything.
I'm a sink. Single income, no kids.
Single income. She's a sink. Yeah. Other than that,
Yeah.
we pretty much we work. And my husband Anthony loves his job and loves doing his job. And I have my job, and I'm dedicated to my job. And and we work, and we travel, and we take care of our dogs. And that's what we do. Yeah.
And they are great dogs.
Oh my, they're the best
Since
dogs.
I have a sister that's a dildo and one that's a sink,
What
I
are
have
you?
to claim single on my taxes, but literally have 2 kids and 2 dogs that nobody gives me money for. So whatever. The government's like, we don't care about you.
Have you seen that meme where the guy's like folding up a dog and it's like me on my taxes? Kid.
Yeah.
Can I do that with my lizard?
Yeah.
I'm sure. You can do whatever you want.
I'm raising a tiny dinosaur.
Yeah, there you go.
You can do whatever you want. Just ask Wesley Snipes and Shakira for tax advice.
I will say before we move to Shonte,
got busted for tax evasion.
Yes.
Okay.
I will say before we move to Shonte, we teeter between calling the dogs our kids or our grandparents. I like to joke around and say that we live with our grandparents because they are senior dogs. So they're older dogs. They're in their 70s in dog years. So I like to say that we live with our grandparents every now and then. But they're also, since we are dinkwads, we do treat them like they're actual children.
Can you say grandparents or something? Because that's a whole another
grandpas.
That's what I'm saying. Grandparents. Yeah.
So that's me. Shonte, talk to us. I know you're so such a busy.
I am so excited. Okay. So first of all, because we know that I'm the oldest, so I'm a little extra. So this weekend, what I did, I was so excited to tell you guys. I'll just start with Friday. Friday, we got to see a friend who's from a priest friend of ours that we've known. He baptized our oldest daughter. He was in town, so we got to spend a little bit of time with him. And then it was weird because it was supposed to be like a dinner Friday night, and we ended up just seeing him the afternoon. And I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. We have Friday night open. And then a family friend of ours, one of Tom's best friends that he's known forever, was like, hey, we're coming to dinner at a pizza place right by your house. Do you guys want to go? And so Tom and I met their family for dinner. So that was great. We got to see 2, and everything. And then Saturday morning, and like, first of all, listener, I just have to tell you that I have not been this busy in a couple of years. And all of a sudden this week has like been crazy. It feels good, but I'm so exhausted.
Yeah.
And then so Saturday I did a travel hacking class, which I will
I
uh-huh.
totally forgot to ask you about that. Listen, Nicole, you don't know
Yeah.
about this. She
You
told
don't
me
know
about
about
this.
this.
She told me about this. And I was like, bro, you gotta do
I
this.
know
And
what
she's like,
credit cards we need to
she was like,
open to get the
"Man."
bonus
And I
points.
was like, take the class. And she's like, no. And then she was all like, no. I was like, go take the class and report back to us.
And share all the
Her take this
information.
class. I made her.
And I will.
And
I
she's
know that we have
angry
an
at me, but I
episode.
bet you feel good about taking it, don't you?
Yes. So
You do.
Tom wanted me to
No.
take the class. Monique wanted me to take the class.
Yep.
Everybody wanted me to take the class. I can tell you that I'm very, very excited. I have to plug in my headphones. Give me a second.
Do it. Go for it.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. I'm telling you.
It gave me a boo 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 boo. So I'm just very excited. I took the class yesterday and I was just I'd left there and I was just like, holy shit.
Yes.
So I know we have a travel episode planned for our podcast, so I can't wait to talk about that as well. So I did that, and then Tom and I went to a coffee shop, had lunch, and I've been working on. He owns a coffee company, so I've been working on rebranding some of his stuff for that. So we did that, and then last night I went to go see Moulin Rouge at the friggin' Dr. Phillips. Oh my God. If I could have turned around and walked back in and saw it for the second time, I would have like give you all my money right now. The show was freaking amazing. It was so good. And we got evacuated. Okay, so let me tell you, look, the fire alarm went off. I don't know if you know the movie.
In the middle of the performance or what? Oh my God,
Yes.
that sucks.
So if you've seen the movie or whatever, like in the Broadway show, there's a lot of singing and dancing, all that kind of stuff. And then Satine, who's the main character, had just come on and all the lights came on in the place. The fire alarm went on. They were like, please, guests, please just wait and stay still until we know what's going on. The poor actress was still performing on the stage, and then all of a sudden the ushers were like, evacuate. So we had to leave. We had to go across the street. If you've been to the Dr. Phillips Center downtown, it wasn't that far, but we had to walk across the street. We had to wait there about 40 minutes before we were cleared. We got to go back to our seat. So it was a long, but like as soon as we got back in, they started with Satine again. And I can't even describe it to you guys because the whole show was just fucking amazing.
What was great about it? Like, just like the actors were great.
Acting, the singing.
The singing. Like, if you see the Moulin Rouge, like, they add it, but, like, there's some acting, but, like, all of it is about singing and their songs, right? And it's like they update it constantly. So it was like Katy Perry, Miley Cyrus, like Bruno Mars, like the songs we know. So you're like, and it's like slower tempo, higher tempo. And so you're just like, you're like dancing along and you're like, oh, yes, I know the song, and there was a whole part where they were like, the two lovers were like having an issue and they sang like Bad Romance, and you're just like, yes, I know this, and I mean, it was just like everything about it was so good. I wish I could have taken Kylie. She would have absolutely loved it. And I went with two friends. I knew about the performance back in like November, December, but we were going to Hawaii, so I didn't push the button on buying the tickets. And then my friend had invited one of her friends who couldn't go. And so I went with one of my best friends, her daughter, and then another best friend with her husband and her daughter and her son. So it was, we all went to dinner and all this kind of stuff. Bless you. So it was like, I mean, honestly, it was one of the best shows I've ever seen. And I
Love it.
couldn't talk. Like, it was great. And then today, which is another thing I want to talk about, so my husband owns and runs a coffee company. And yesterday I was like, we need to take some pictures of your product. You know where we should go? IKEA. Have you guys seen the TikTok where people take their stuff and take it? And
they're like, I love my new apartment, and then they're like in an IKEA like snake home, and then they turn out and it's like IKEA. Oh my God! Did you seriously?
Did you do
frickin'
that?
Do this? I love this. You need to send me the photos because oh my God.
We took a bag of coffee, we hid it in my backpack, and then we went to the showrooms, right? And Kylie was like, are we seriously doing this? I'm like, Kylie.
Good question, Kylie.
You need.
Hell yeah, you're doing this.
Good question,
Yeah.
Kylie.
Because kitchens, living rooms, all this kind of stuff.
It's a different setup.
Yeah.
It's a different,
A different look. It's so smart.
We took one product, one bag of coffee, and we took 50 photos. And because they have cabinets, and inside the cabinets they have coffee cups and French presses and pour overs and coffee makers. And I set it up. I'll post pictures later, but hell yes. We took so many product photos inside of IKEA. I was like, if we get kicked out, you guys buy it. Like, we spent $20 on things that we actually wanted to buy. I don't know if you can see, but you see that little, it's hard to see right now, but that little plant, $4.99. We bought stuff. Yeah, we did buy stuff there, but we took product photos in IKEA, and it was the greatest thing ever. I was so happy. This is why I couldn't wait to tell you what we did this weekend. So,
literally nothing wrong with that. I love it.
It was so awesome.
So Kylie was with you. She's your youngest.
Yep.
Talk about your kids.
So all right. So this is 2024. This is 2024. So Tom and I have been married for 24 years because we got married in 2000. We did not do that on purpose, but honestly, it really makes for easy math. Not gonna lie.
Wild. 24 years.
Yeah. 24 years. We got engaged in 1998 after 6 months of knowing each other. So, we met. 6 months
of dating. You guys knew each other longer.
Well, we knew of each other, but
you're making exceptions, Nicole, but go on.
We knew of each other. Okay, so Tom and I worked together, and he was in a relationship. I was in a relationship, whatever. It was 1998. Mom and Dad went to Bon Air without us. I would say that was not very cool. It was the summer.
I literally talked about this on Friday night with my friend because do you remember? I don't mean the sidebar. Do you remember that while they were on their vacation, we all went to Papa Joe's and you, Shonte, made us try olives?
I remember that.
Thank you. Oh my
God, they're so disgusting.
We don't like olives.
I love olives.
I remember
you
making us try them.
Yeah.
But I just want to add that I don't think it's unfair of them to go. Don't you think, Shonte, that you and Tom would love a vacation without your kids?
Yes. No, 100%. They were good. They went. They got to go diving.
Yeah, they never got to do anything fun without us.
Yeah. No, it was in 1998. For those who don't know the history, we had a lot of wildfires that year
in Florida.
And in Florida. In Orlando, and there was a fire ban. So July 4th, there was no fireworks. You couldn't do anything. And I worked at a local church summer camp as a assistant cook. My mom was the cook. I was going to classes at UCF. Tom was director of the camp, and Mom went away for a week. So I became the main cook. I worked the whole thing, but we had July 4th off.
Monique and I were child labor the whole summer too.
Yeah.
including the week that you were in charge.
Washing dishes.
Well, and so,
Mhm.
Mom went to Bonaire, and I was in charge of you guys. Like, we all stayed together. Monique went to Red Hot and Boom, which is a huge thing. I think, was it Backstreet Boys or NSYNC was
NSYNC.
that week? NSYNC. That's what I thought. But then I was like, is that right? But there was no fireworks. So there was like nobody there.
Yeah.
And I got invited to a counselor party, and I took Nicole. We weren't doing anything, and we went, and I hung out with Tom. And I remember saying, I got to go because my youngest sister, Monique, does not know we're here. She's going to come home because she was with another family friend, the McCabe's.
Yep.
And I was like, she's going to be worried. Like, she's going to be like freaking out.
Because again, this is before cell phones.
Fuck is everybody.
Yeah. And everybody was like, oh my God, you're so responsible, you know? And I was just like that. I'm just the oldest. Like, I have to make sure everybody's in order.
Yeah.
And, you know, so anyway, so Tom and I kind of like started flirting with each other, started dating. We were both in relationships. We both kind of broke up with people. And I remember Mom called from Bonaire, and she was like, what did you do? And I was like, oh, you know, like, we went to a party with Tom. And she was like, my Tom? And I was like, okay, you can call him your Tom you want, but I'm kind of talking to her, you know. And so anyway, that was like, yeah. So that was like July of 1998, and then by December of 1998, we got engaged. But we did not get married until May of 2000, and so we got married, and you know, I think it was 2003. Malia was born. 2008, Kylie was born. 2005, we started a business together. So we work together a lot, which if you've never done with your spouse, good luck. And
do it.
Wow. Call me first. Yeah. And then we actually sold the business in 2020. I struggled a lot with the business only because Tom and I owned it 50. So we ended up selling it, and which was honestly was probably more personal than it was business, because we needed that to move on. And so now I still work for the company that I sold the business to. I do accounting and invoicing and stuff like that. But so I still work for the company. I've been in the business for a long time. You know, we have 2 kids. Gosh, I mentioned earlier, Malia was 2003, Kylie's 2008. So that makes Malia, she'll be 21 in August.
Her 21st birthday is going to be lit.
Kylie will be 16 in July.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. So Kylie's a sophomore in high school, and Malia moved out in November, which is great. She's on her own. She's doing her own thing. And she works for Jeremiah's Italian Ice, which is a big corporate company here in Orlando, but there's franchises everywhere in the United States. And she, she's doing classes.
She manages her own location now too, right?
She manages her own location. Yep.
Yeah, that's incredible on her resume for her age too. Like, what a great experience.
100%. And the crazy part is she's 20, and this is her second management job. Like her second. She was manager at Noodles for a while. So, So, but I mean, you know, as the oldest, I'm going to get deep for a second, right? Because I don't know if I've been bred to believe that I'm the person who's to take care of people, or raised to be, and I say that in 2 different ways. Like, one is like, is this my internal, or is this the way I was raised to take care of people? You know, because of that, I've never moved out of Seminole County. I mean, do I want to see the world and live other places? Absolutely. But for the longest time, I was here for our grandparents. I mean, I know that a lot more of it came to light after Grandma passed away, and I was with Grandpa at least once, twice a week, helping him move on and going out and doing stuff with him. But even before that, like I would take them to Costco. I would do this. I would do that. I was there for them. The same with mom and dad. They're not getting younger. Um, both grandma and grandpa, mom and dad, whenever they need something, I'm the first person they call, and it's just, we always like, can I move and leave them? I mean, at this point in time,
Yes, you can.
maybe not.
You can.
I know you say that. It's easy for you to say,
It's
but
very easy for me to say. It's very easy for you
of course
to do.
it
We can
is.
discuss.
You don't have.
We can discuss it.
You can
I
say
would-
that, but I mean, like,
yeah.
you don't have the grown roots here, right? Like, my daughter doesn't live with me anymore.
That's
She
fine.
has a house here. So I'm not just leaving my mom and my dad. I'm leaving my mom and my dad, my mother-in-law,
Yeah,
her husband.
that's
I'm
fine.
leaving
You'll
my
see.
daughter. My daughter is in high school, and there's I have a lot more tentacles out there and in the game and stuff. And I mean,
I feel like there's
so
a rooting with you. Like you're rooted in that town at this point. Your family is rooted in there.
mhm.
It's not just mom and dad. It's your life. And like as
Yeah.
somebody who's lived in multiple states, like leaving Florida was so hard. And I was very depressed when I was in New York for my first like 6 months because it was such a big adjustment. I'd always lived by my family. And then I left New York not on my terms because of COVID. And so I
Right.
was also equally as depressed when I came to Texas. And like, it's fun to be like, oh yeah, I've lived in all of these states. But the fact of the matter is that each time it's been a really hard move,
Yeah.
and I don't even have children. I'm not even in a relationship. It's just me, but it's leaving that familiar and it's leaving the people who you're used to being around all the time, and it's
Yeah.
so much harder when it is your direct family who's rooted in that. And it's not just you anymore. And that's something that I do think about all the time because I know Monique feels the same way. Like it made it easier for me to not be there knowing you were there. And like, I don't want to
Mhm.
be like, oh, it's fine for me to be out gallivanting because Shonte is there. But like, there was just this guilt of not living at home during all of this. And when I left for New York, like, I was the first one to leave. So it was really hard on me. And there was some pushback from the family because I was the first person leaving. But I knew in that moment that I had to go for me or I would regret
Yeah.
it my whole life. And I'm really thankful that I did, but that doesn't mean that there's not this part in me that feels like I wasn't there. You know what I mean? And I've
Yeah.
expressed this to you, my gratitude to you for being
Mhm.
there in these moments that we can't be there. And so like it's really hard on both sides. It's hard being there and it's
Yeah.
hard not being there.
And I get it, like, because yes, like Monique said earlier, like I made the decision, I had kids. I get it, right? Like, so my roots grow further and further. So, Kylie's a sophomore in high school. So it's not like you can, Tom and I, we joke, but not joking. We want to move to Hawaii, right? We want to go, even if it's just for a couple of years. I told Tom, I'm like, once we're empty nesters, there's nothing stopping us from moving in Hawaii for 2 years and going to Colorado for 2 years and North Carolina, all the places we ever wanted to live, right? Just go and live a couple of years. And that's great. But you look at the time right now and you're like, Kylie's a sophomore in high school. We're not going to move right now because she needs where she wants to go to school and where she needs to go to school for college is here in Florida. So then we stay here, we establish the residency so she can go and do what she wants to do. Her top school right now is UCF. She wants to be an engineer. And there's 3 schools great in Florida for engineering: UCF, UF, Embry-Riddle. But she also wants to do marching band. So that kind of takes out some of the schools. Now you have UF, US, whatever. There's a lot of factors in Kylie's brain. And you're like, okay, so what? In 2 years, are we going to go? But then in 2 years, there's a really good chance Malia's going to be married. and then she's going to be having kids. Then are we leaving grandkids? You know, I mean, it's like, there's so many like, what ifs, what if here, what if here, what if here. And yeah, I mean that, you know, we did that where we decided to have kids. But so my family, like our family doesn't just extend to here and there. It extends even farther, you know? Should Malia get married soon? Her husband's part of our family. Now we added in another person when she has kids. What if Kylie in high school decides to get, or college decides to get married, and then there's another kid, right? Like I have two girls, so their husbands now become part of the family, and then they have kids, right? Like, so, look at Hilo. She's like, Mom, it's dinner time.
She's like,
why haven't you
God.
fed me?
Like,
Yeah. She's like, what are you doing? Because you haven't fed me yet. But yeah. So, well, and speaking in, okay, so this is a good leeway into the fact that I have two kids. I also have two huskies who are just like the freaking kids, but they're
I think
worse.
they're worse than your kids.
Yeah.
Your kids are pretty cool. The dogs are something else. They're quite dramatic.
I gotta say, at least as teenagers with the kids, they sleep in. Dogs don't. Like, yeah, no.
Perks of having a lizard. She's in her own tank. If I don't feed her, she's like, I'll probably just sleep in the sun. It's fine.
You get like timers on your lights. You're like, off, on. Right? Do you have that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I was like, because the bearded dragon they did.
Yeah. She is in a fully like automated enclosure. The only thing I have to do is every other day I put 5 crickets in there who've been dumped and covered in calcium for gut loading. And then I watch her hunt them, and she is not a great hunter. So it is funny to watch because she is smooth brain as can be, and will like jump off her rock and catch mulch. And I'm like, look at you. You almost did it.
That's funny. That's funny.
Cute little smooth brain lizard.
Yeah. Ay. So yeah, so that's me, the oldest.
The eldest. I know we covered a lot today, but I think those are all good things. And, you know, we're going to cover a lot of like really fun topics over the next couple of episodes. I think one of the next things that we're going to do is talking about COVID, and another episode we're going to do is talking about fun sister secrets, which I'm really excited about. So I think it's good, and really, I know today was a little all over the place, but honestly, it's just sort of a glimpse into our personalities, into how we deal with things, into like what's been going on. It's tough when honestly we're in our 40s and late 30s to kind of like catch our our daydreamers and day drinkers up to our lives. So I hope we did our best to catch you up in a short amount of time, but our goal is really just to like have you get to know us, and you're gonna get to continue to know us throughout our time. And you know, we're a little crazy, even though I think that like Shonte is how Shonte is, and Nicole is how Nicole is, and I am how I am. We're a little crazy. We're 3 girls. There's a lot to be said about a sibling of 3 and their birth order and how they act and everything like that. It might be pretty spot on to what you read online.
I think we are.
I think we are spot on.
Yeah.
But really, it's just to kind of get to know us, and you're going to continue to get to know us. And at the end of the day, please refill your drinks as often as you need to through our podcast. We obviously are doing the same, and just have fun with us. And that's really all that we want from you. So we really appreciate you for joining us today, and we hope that you continue to tune in to our podcast and continue to have fun with us. So thank you so much, and we hope you have a great day.
Cheers to take us out.
I have barely anything left in my drink. So
I just spilled mine from my secret bowl over there.
Okay,
Yeah.
there you go.
Do you want to add? I do want to add that you should follow us. We have our Facebook, which will be Day Drinking and Daydreaming, which you formerly known as Wine About COVID with Monique and Shonte. Yeah. Our Instagram will be daydrinking_potty, PODDY, because we are a full-on potty. Yeah. And then we also have a YouTube channel, which we will upload our video, Day Drinking and Daydreaming on YouTube. So make sure you like and subscribe. Awesome.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers. Cheers. Have a great day.